Hi everyone, this is the help video for Excel Chapter 1, Pause and Practice 1-2. I have the file that we completed from Pause and Practice 1-1 up on my screen, and I have the directions from the ebook on the right. So this first step we do not have to do because I still have the file open. If you didn't have it open, you'd have to open up the book. Remember, we don't have to rename it because we already changed it to 1-4. So we're already at the end, so you can always ignore that rename there. All right, so the second step that we have to do is to calculate the daily totals using the sum function. So there's really three things that you can enter into Excel. You can enter in text, which is alphanumerics. You can enter in numbers, which have a numeric value. They're called values in Excel. And then the third thing is formulas. And there's really two types of formulas. There's just a formula where you enter, this plus that, this minus that, divided by, just a regular mathematical formula. The other kind of formulas are a specialized formula that are called functions. And functions usually do tasks that are more complex than what you would want to be able to do from just entering the mathematical formula. And functions oftentimes allow you to maintain the work easier, okay? And so whether it's a formula or a function in Excel, it begins with an equal sign. That's what tells Excel that what is coming is some kind of a formula. So what we want to do is a specialized formula called a function, and the function that we're going to start with is the auto sum. So summation is the addition of a range of values. So you only use the sum function when you are doing that task. I don't want to see the sum function in front of every math equation that you put. You only do sum when you're adding a range of numbers. So what we want to do in this assignment is we want to put our cursor, our active cell in B10. So I'm going to open this up a little bit. So what we want to do is get a total of our Monday's revenue, right? That makes sense. You want a total. If I handed you a calculator, you'd say this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this, which is fine if you have a small amount. But let's say you have 100 or 1,000 numbers, and then you add 1,001, or you take something away. You have to remember to modify that formula. So the sum function allows you to do a range, add them, and then if that range changes by having new ones entered or values removed, the sum function does not have to change. You can just put it in there once. So the way formulas or functions begin is you always begin in the cell that's going to contain the answer. So that's the first thing you want to do. Is my cursor where I want the answer to go? And I want the answer to be in B10 because I want to add up Monday's values. So my active cell is B10, check. Second thing is, if you're doing a formula, you would do an equal sign. But because we're going to use the shortcut on the ribbon, it puts that equal in there. So I'm on the Home tab. I'm going to go all the way over here, and I'm going to look for that little sigma. That's like that funny looking E. Sigma, which means summation. And next to it, it'll say auto sum. I'm just going to click on that word. It's going to fill in the sum function. So look, equal sum. So when you're doing a function, it's always equal sign, function name, parentheses. So open and close parentheses, always. Even if there's nothing between the parentheses, you have an open and close. In this particular case, the system put in between the parentheses the range that we selected, which is B5 through. And do you see that little colon? In my mind, when I'm saying that, I say the word through. So sum or total or give me, add them up from B5 through B9. And you can see what's these running ants. That's what I call them. They're marquee, and it's blue. So that blue is the same as the color inside of the function, so it matches. When you're selecting multiple things, the colors will change to give you a visual. So I'm looking at that, and I realize that is exactly what I want to do. I want to add up all of those. So remember I said you could hit enter, you could hit tab, or you can hit a check mark. The check mark keeps us in that cell. So I'm going to come right up there and click on that check mark up in the right below the ribbon. It puts in that formula. I can see that in the formula bar. It puts the answer or result on my spreadsheet. And now I'm good. So now I have to recognize that I want to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So do I want to do that over and over and over again? No. And one of the really cool things about Excel is I can just copy that formula, and because it's a relative reference in the formula, so tuck that little term back in your mind there, relative reference, because chapter 2 we're going to talk about relative and absolute referencing. But because it's a relative, I can go to that little box at the corner. Remember, that was the data fill handle. I put my cursor there. I get the thin black cross, no arrowheads. Remember, arrowheads mean move. Click, hold, and drag, and just go all the way across. And what I'm doing is I am taking this formula and I'm copying it across. So if you look as I click at the formula bar, do you see the formula has adjusted to the appropriate column? I only had to enter that formula one time then, and I could use that data fill. So let me put your cursor where the answer is. Click on the sum. Validate that it's adding up what you want to add. Check mark. Keeps you in that cell. Go to the corner, data fill, thin black cross, no arrowheads, drag it to where you want, and boom, you're done. Much, much simpler. Okay, so we have completed step 2 and 3. So now we want to do the sales category. So we got what our values were for the days of the week, but I want to see, okay, how much revenue does room and cabin rentals or local tours or fishing guides bring? So I'm going to put my cursor in J5. And the reason we're doing this is, first of all, you would never do that. You'd want to go right here. But we're doing it so we can see how to move things, okay? So we're kind of putting it in an incorrect spot, because you'd always want to just continually put your data next to each other, because it affords you the ability when you're editing easier manipulation. So I'm sitting here in J5. I'm going to come up here and find that sigma, click on it, and look. So now my next thing is to visualize. Do I want to add B5 through I5? No, because there's nothing in I5. So my running ants have selected an incorrect range. That's okay. There's like 5 different ways you can fix this. This is the way I do it. I go to the beginning of the range, and remember, not the edge. American Red Cross look. Click, hold, and redraw your running ants so that it reflects the correct range that you want to add. So we're going to select B5 through H5. It says that here. Matchy, blue, blue, good. Check mark. Go to the edge. Get the thin black cross, which means you're on the data fill handle. Drag it down. Let go. So now we put that formula in one time and we copied it or replicated it across. So super good. Okay, so we have, we are up to step number 7. All right, so now I recognize, oh shoot, I left this blank here, and that's okay. So because we adjusted the formula correctly and didn't put I in there, if you didn't pull out the I, which is the bad, then this would not work. Plus the formula would be wrong, because what if you put something here that you didn't want added? So I'm going to select this range. So middle, American Red Cross, drag it down, go to the edge, click, hold, drag it over. Remember, that's a move. With the arrowhead with the crosses or the points means you can move it. And now, look, the formula did not adjust at all because it was already correct. It was already set to those. Excel is fine with that. So now we want to come up here and put total. Sorry. I think I might have missed that somewhere. Oh yeah, right here, I4, total. All right, so we have 7 done. So we're kind of at a point where we're done with the formulas for, where am I at? 8. So we're going to move on to styles. So I'm going to take a second to save this, and I'm going to end this movie and pick up with the second movie at step 8. All right, thank you.